Paris, 1889. We are at the edge of the Champ de Mars, swallowed by a sea of people, straw boaters and top hats, parasols like drifting flowers as the crowd surges toward the gates. The Exposition Universelle opened on the 6th of May and ran until the 31st of October, drawing more than 32 million visits before the season ended. And then it hits you. The brand new Eiffel Tower, bare iron, open lattice, 4 legs on a square base, then narrowing into the sky until your neck gives up before your eyes do. The winning design came from Gustave Eiffel's team, engineers Maurice Koechlin and Émile Nouguier, with architect Steven Sauvestre shaping the final silhouette. Construction began on the 28th of January 1887. The tower was completed on the 31st of March 1889, and it opened to visitors on the 15th of May. Back in 1884, Prime Minister Jules Ferry approved the expo to mark the French Revolution centenary. In September 1889, Thomas Edison arrived to demonstrate his phonograph and even met Eiffel atop the tower. Up close, it doesn't feel like a building. It feels like engineering, around 18,000 iron pieces assembled into a web of triangles, locked together by about 2.5 million rivets. Triangles distribute load, and the lattice lets wind pass through instead of pushing back like a solid wall. At 300 meters, it is the tallest structure on Earth in 1889, and it looks like the future, dropped into an old world by mistake. This fair is built to celebrate progress, and it does it by staging a city that runs on order. Step inside and you realize this is not one building, but a temporary metropolis laid over Paris. The grounds stretch across the Champ de Mars and up to the Trocadero. The layout, guided by organizer Charles-Adolphe Alphand, uses long sightlines, formal gardens, and straight promenades to steer your body the way a diagram steers your eyes. Entrances act like funnels. Fountains and statues punctuate routes like commas. You don't wander, you are conducted. One moment you are under the Eiffel Tower's iron legs, hearing the hollow ring of footsteps on metal stairs. The next you are swept along boulevards packed shoulder to shoulder, past national pavilions dressed up as miniature worlds. And then the sound changes first. A low mechanical thunder, belts slapping, pistons punching time like a drumline. You step into the Galerie des Machines, the fair's other cathedral. Architect Ferdinand Duterre and engineer Victor Contamin have built an iron and glass vault with a clear span of about 115 meters and a height around 48 meters. It is an enormous interior with no columns to interrupt the view. Daylight floods in through the glazing. The ribs of the structure stripe the floor with shadow. The machines are not hidden. They are displayed like jewelry. Flywheels blur into silver halos and polished brass catches the light. You can feel the physics, rotational inertia in spinning wheels, steam pressure turning heat into work, power transmitted through shafts and gears like a language. A father lifts his child to see. A worker in rough clothes stares at a motor that looks like it could replace 100 hands. The hall makes industry feel inevitable. Outside, the tower sells a different lesson: vertical trust. Passenger elevators climb inside the legs, and safety is demonstrated as spectacle. Otis engineers publicly test the brakes under heavy load. The fair is teaching millions to believe that modern systems can fail safely. Then night falls, and the exposition changes its face. Electric light blooms across paths and gardens, sharper than gaslight. In evening shows, illuminated fountains turn water into an experiment. Lamps shine up through columns of spray, colored with glass filters, transforming jets into shifting ribbons of light. Reflections tremble in the basins. The Eiffel Tower becomes a beacon, an iron lighthouse pulling people through the dark. But the same fair that sells wonder also sells power. Beyond the brightest promenades are colonial displays, streets and villages built to be watched. The exposition includes a so-called Village Negre, where about 400 people from France's colonies are presented as living exhibits. One participant, Samba Laoube Thiam of Senegal, called it humiliating to be shown in huts like savages. Progress here has a shadow, and the bill is often paid by people who never got to choose the price. And then it unwinds. Autumn arrives. The crowds thin. Signs come down. Temporary facades are stripped and carted away. Whole buildings that felt permanent simply disappear. Even the Galerie des Machines will be demolished in 1910, but one thing refuses to leave. The Eiffel Tower was built for a fair, and it becomes a permanent landmark, proof that a temporary future can stick. And maybe that is the true legacy of 1889. It taught the world how to stage modern life through spectacle, technology, and belief. If you want more AI reconstructions like this, cities you can walk through, then hit like and subscribe. And tell me, what place and year should we rebuild next?